If your team got guaranteed money, tell them call me.
Whoop. Make me say, my. I done been around the world.
Yeah, I was made for this.
Player Performance with J.A. Cavalier.
What up? Welcome to the first MLB show of the season. Guys, thanks for joining us. I know you guys joined Sharky and Luke earlier. Did a hell of a job with the Knicks Pacers game. Who exactly were they on that game, Bernsey? They're all about the Knicks tonight. Holy shit. Abe, what's going on? Caesar, what's up? Yes, you might want to refresh, buddy. That's been put up. Holy shit. Now, dude's already talking about, the 20 dime, no doubt route. Yep, get him the fuck out of here. Get him the fuck out of here. All right, guys. Well, welcome to the first show here, MLB Player Performance. Yes, moving forward, I'll be joined by Coach Rick Bowe, also Shark and Luke. We're going to work on a rotation here. And this is up way later than it's normally going to be up. I actually just wanted to put this up today because I just felt like coming on here and talking some shit, giving out some MLB free picks. So last week in MLB, my first fucking official losing week of the season, felt like shit, but it's going to happen. You know what ends up happening is, you catch that series where you're just wrong on the series and you can't get it figured out. You're not seeing those particular games right. And that's what happened to me last week. Got burned. Who was it to burn me? Fucking Padres getting swept. The Dodgers getting swept. And who? Oh, yeah, Baltimore, the Birds. What the fuck happened in Baltimore? Many people picked them to win that division. Obviously, not the case. Orioles, the Birds, just absolutely fucking suck. Abe, I got you on the hats. No worries. I'm going to go through all the night games here. In the future, we'll have a set schedule for the Player Performance MLB. But like I said, I just wanted to get the ball rolling. So we're going to get it started right now. Guys, before we move forward, you know what to do. Smash the like button. Show appreciation. Appreciation is always appreciated. We love you guys. And like I've always said, you guys are as much a part of the show as we are. Free picks every single MLB game for tonight. And we're going to start it. As we know, of course, the first game was postponed. That's the Atlanta Braves and the Nationals. And I did actually like the Nationals first five in that game. I actually like the Braves full game in that game, but no worries. In chat, always love the love. All right, guys, let's get this rolling here. First game up. We're going to head to Fenway. The New York Mets take on the Boston Red Sox. Any Soto sightings? I mean, he ended up bending over the Yankees in the offseason, right? And then he signed across town, got the bag, and now he's just bending over all the Mets and the Mets fans. Done next to nothing. So Taylor McGill is on the mound tonight for the Mets. Now, he was a great option early in the season, but since, he's pretty much been fucking straight trash on the mound. He's given up 4+ earned runs in 3 straight. ERA close to 4 now. 8.76 in May. On the other side, you have Crochet, and the dude's just been absolutely filthy. He's dealing 2-run ERA, 3 starts in May. He's allowed 2 earned runs, just 2 earned runs, just fucking nasty. Basically, the dude's just fucking absolutely dealing on the mound. I actually wanted to get to the Mets in this spot because the Mets did lose the first 2 games, and you guys know I like to play away against a sweep in Major League Baseball. I just can't do it here. Red Sox 23-15-11 early, 11-8-5 at Fenway, and the Mets on the road, just basically on the fucking struggle bus, and they struggle early, 9-12-5 on the season. So give me the Sox here, give me them early, give me the often. I'm going to take the Boston Red Sox first 5 money line. Next up, we're going to roll. That's right, Texas Yankees. Shout out to the Bronx Bombers. Those of you who were with us last night know that we cashed the Bronx Bombers early, got to the window early and often cashed that 20 dime, no doubt route last night. And I'm not basically fading the Bombers here. What I am doing is I'm going to back DeGrom. Last time out, 8 innings pitched, no earned runs, 7 Ks. Picking up, his 3rd straight win. ERA in May is 1.50, just filthy. 2.29 for the season. He's also pitched, well against these Yankees, this current Yankees squad, this current lineup. 7 starts, ERA just over 3. I think the Yankees struggle early. They typically do in games, and then they pick it up later in the innings, especially as they get into the bullpen. They may come around a little bit later in the game, so I'm going to look to the Rangers early here. Rangers first 5, also money line. Better value laying the half run, but I don't overly trust these Texas Rangers bats. I know that they've gotten much better as of late, but still, like you saw last night, we're in a position to put a little dent in us early in the game, just couldn't do it. And then what I do trust is I do trust them early. They're the 4th most profitable team in the first 5 innings, so I'm not getting away from that. All right, moving forward, we are San Diego, the Padres heading to Toronto, the 51st state, the Toronto Blue Jays. And I'm going to target Mr. Reliable here. That's Fernando Tatis. I'm taking Tatis to hit a home run. Yeah, not big on the props. Had to bring in Luke for this one. That's been pretty much fucking, a go-to with this spot. Tatis has been absolute fire right now. Now batting .303, 12 home runs. He's going to love the matchup for tonight. In his career, Tatis is 8 for 17 against Gausman, a pair of homers. Gausman has given up 7 home runs this season, 6 of which have come at home. So it's a good spot for Tatis. I expect Tatis to get off, and you're getting big plus money at that. Not a bad look. Nice little dog there. Moving forward, we have Philadelphia heading to Colorado. You know what happens there, right? Runs. Also, ain't nobody making you push the button. That's facts, right? I'm just going to go through some real quick. Padres, baby. I will say this one thing right now. The Padres should win this game, and I do like the Padres as a short dog in that game. I know we're on to the Phillies game, but I do like the Padres as a short dog. I do like good teams playing against the sweep, but the bad part about that is the Padres have now dropped 5 straight, right? They lost, they got swept in the last series. Now they've just lost the first 2 games of this series. So it's kind of hard to look towards the Padres right now. So I would just rather, narrow that down more to Tatis. In this game, look, it's Coors fucking Field. So naturally, you're going to think over. Phillies have scored 8 and 7 runs in the first 2 games of the series. Both games went over the posted total. Tonight, they're going to face Carson Palmquist. Palmquist has been, in his 1 start, was a straight fucking disaster. 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 earned runs. 8-0 loss to Arizona. Taijuan Walker, well, you know him. He's always going to find trouble. He's pitched out of the bullpen as of late. So recently he's been pitching out of the pen, basically demoted. This is going to be his first start since May 1st. The over has cashed in 11 of 16 for the Rockies, 7 of 8 at home. You got to like the over in this spot. Over 11.5. The one thing that feels a little creepy here is that 11.5. Typically, you see a much higher number in Colorado. So, but I'm gonna still expect the Phillies to do most of the heavy lifting. Expect Taijuan Walker to give up just a couple, and you know what, help us get up and over that posted total. All right, moving on. We're gonna move on to Sacramento in this small ass park in this what is it? It's a minor league park. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim taking on now the Sacramento A's. That's just ridiculous. Move to fucking Vegas already, for fuck's sakes. Look, it's hard to step in front of the Angels right now. And I've always said this to you guys. You always want to bet with the streak, never against it. Or you just pass and watch midget porn. But tonight, I do have I have a play on the Athletics. I did post a lean on the Athletics. I know the Angels are on fire right now. I don't like playing against the streak, but this is just JP Sears going against a fucking trash Kakanowicz. Not in my wheelhouse, so I'm definitely going to be on this one here. I'll be on the Angels. Why are you laughing at me? Yeah, I got my golf balls. I'm sitting here twiddling my golf balls. Yeah, the links yesterday. The red balls. I'm gonna say this right now. I know, it may look a little sus. I can understand that, but the red balls in the bright green grass, I'm telling you, it's a thing. If you play golf, you hit the links. Just buy a sleeve of red balls, not the pink ones, the red balls, and I'm telling you, easy to pick up, easy to find. And when you're hitting as much into the weeds as I am, it's always a good fucking thing. Last game on the docket tonight, heading to LA to Dodger Stadium. What is it? The only stadium that's not really sponsored. We have Arizona coming in. Dodgers on the fucking struggle bus right now. They did win last night in extras, but even that wasn't easy. They cost me the free pick. I had the Dodgers laying the 1.5. They, had one hit going through the first 9. So one hit going into extra innings, just flat out ugly with all those names and then that fucking payroll. You would expect them to get hits, expect them to put up runs, but just fucking ridiculous. But look, I'm going to do it. It's ugly. I get it. I'm going to back Corbin Burnes. Corbin Burnes is on one right now. And he's also one of the few pitchers that can say that he has good numbers against this current Dodgers lineup. Slow start to the season, but he has been coming around. He's now has 16 straight shutout innings. So he's on a nice little streak. So, yeah, obviously you would say regression is due, and it probably is. But I'm going to trust the numbers, and the numbers are D-backs 3-0 last 3 behind Burnes. Dustin May has been also struggling, giving up 4+ in 2 of 3 games. His ERA now close to 5, facing a top 5 scoring offense. Diamondbacks first 5, we're going to take the half a run in this spot. So that's it. We can recap real quick if you want. You guys could throw them in a nice little fucking parlay, make some money. The Dodgers are not on a losing streak there, John. They actually won the game last night in extras in a walk-off sacrifice fly, and nobody was sitting there hoping for a fucking granny more than I was from Muncy. Muncy just couldn't get it up and over the wall. He came close. He gave it a ride. But anything in the outfield at that point was going to score that run. Bases loaded, 1 out, so he just basically had to put it in the outfield out of the grass. Best bet on this docket, you know what? I'm not going to give out a best bet. Actually, I do like all these plays, so I would just play responsibly as always. If you're going to play with your head. Look at this. Stuns K. Athletics are not winning. Oh, so we have an Angel fans in the comment. Let's just move on. You guys have a couple questions. I have no problem answering them. We'll just move on to a little Q&A here.
Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
Raul, no, I did not say Mets. Actually, I said I'd like to get to the Mets because they had dropped the first 2 at Fenway. But you know what? I'm actually playing the Red Sox early in that game. Red Sox first 5. What you think about A's over 5.5? You know what? The books seem to like it. And actually some sharp people that I know, that I trust, that I know well, are actually heavily backing the Athletics tonight. The one thing about them playing in Sacramento in that minor league park, it's a small fucking park, and the ball does seem to carry. So there are a lot of runs being put up there. A's back home should be much better. Up and over 5.5 tonight. Against a trash can on the mound. I think they should be able to find runs and find some fat contact playing with one of those torpedo bats tonight. What brand of golf balls do you hit? These are Wilsons, but I'll tell you what, they don't carry as well as like a Titleist, so to speak. But it's more so just the red ball. I saw the red ball and I wanted to try it out. The crabgrass in Florida on the course is just sometimes uncontrollable, and we're going through a drought here, so we're in heavy need of water. So the crabgrass is really getting out of control, and you see it more so on the greens of the golf course. So even hitting one straight down the pipe, you're still probably, getting balls hard to find. And so I just picked up the red ball, just to see if it was something that would be able to spot a little bit more. Rangers, Yankees, under 7.5 runs. See, here's the problem with the Yankees, right? The Yankees typically start slow, but it's a team that could burst out for 4 or 5 runs at any inning. And it's not as if the Texas Rangers bullpen is just a shutdown fucking bullpen. So I mean, they could find runs late, which is why I actually narrowed the target down to the Rangers first 5. Now, if you wanted to play under in the first 5, that would be a better look. No, I don't believe that. I don't think the Rockies have to score at least 4 runs tonight. Even if they put up 3, I do expect the Phillies to do most of the heavy lifting. I do like the Padres money line. For me, the problem is okay. So I like to play teams against the sweep, especially good teams. And the Padres are definitely that. I would say the Padres, definitely top 5 in the National League. Same situation with the Mets tonight, but I don't play against teams, or I don't play with teams on a 5-game losing streak typically, and they're on a 5-game losing streak right now. So I mean that's what's scaring me off the Padres, or I would be playing them. I do lean Padres. I may sprinkle a little bit something on San Diego. And I'm not a big Blue Jays fan. For some reason, the Blue Jays are one of those teams that no matter what I do with them, I lose. So I typically try to stay away from Blue Jay games altogether. Kennedy, yes, we're bringing in the WNBA. Actually, Junior Brown and Shark are going to spearhead that. We're going to have a WNBA show, so that's coming up quick. Phillies first 5 team total over 3.5. But see, this is the issue with first 5 team totals, right? You factor in that you're going to get to see this guy twice, right? You're going to get 2 plate appearances in the first 5 innings for the meat of your lineup. And when I say meat of your lineup, usually typically your first 5 hitters, right? So let's say you come out and he deals, and they deal in the first inning, and they get through the first inning unscathed. They get through the second inning unscathed. Come the third inning, now you're dealing with the bottom of the lineup. Bottom of the lineup, so bottom of the lineup for a reason. So now you basically narrowing it down to 1 or 2 to really hit those 3.5, 4 runs. So I don't think I'd like it at that number. When you see a team total at 1.5, 2.5 in the first 5, it's easier to get behind. But typically when I see a team total in the first 5, my mindset is always to think under. Just because it's early in the game, bats are usually typically a little bit lazier. That's why I typically stay away from like the Nerfy and the Yerfies of the world, because you never know what's going to come out. A guy just comes out throwing gas in the first inning, and the more you see that pitcher and the more you get an idea of his pitch and what he's throwing in certain situations, is usually later in the game, you start to pick up better on his arm angles. Texas today, man, again, it's the bullpen and what the Yankees do later in games more so than early. That's why I narrowed that to the first 5. Adam, yeah, they do have good numbers against Gossman. But these days, many people have good numbers against Gossman, and he's pitching like fucking trash at home. So, yeah, I would definitely look that way. Diamondbacks over 3.5 team total. Yeah, that's a look. I mean, it's fucking Dustin May. Dustin May, is giving up runs like holy shit, right? And what's crazy about Dustin May is his rookie season, he was unfucking touchable. But you see that a lot with rookie pitchers, that they'll come out and nobody's ever seen them. Like you saw Strider was untouchable his rookie year. And that's a team that's one thing that, just to give you guys future, knowledge, whenever you see the Yankees facing a young pitcher or a rookie pitcher or an arm that they've never seen before, straight Yankee fade. They can't fucking hit them. I don't understand. I don't know why. They just can't get to them. Phillies over 6.5 team total. Yes. If I like the over in the game and I'm expecting the Phillies to do most of the heavy lifting, that's definitely a good look, Matt. All right. I think that's it. All right, we're going to wrap this up. And like I said, listen, moving forward, there'll be more than just me. I just wanted to sit here and get this going, get this pretty much on its fucking way. I know I've been kind of, dragging my feet on doing it. We've been more so trying to work on the schedule and who's going to do what, who's going to be on here with me. Josh, appreciate it as always. You guys know appreciation, always appreciated. So, as the MLB season comes along, and tomorrow we'll have a show, we'll have a guest, whether it's me and Coach or me and Shark or me, Coach and Shark. We're just seeing exactly how we want to do it. But I wanted to come on here and just go through the fucking games, the free picks. It always helps me with the process, right? See, that's the one thing that people don't understand. Yeah, Coach Rick is going to be a permanent like fixture on this show. He's definitely going to be in this mix. He's not as big into NBA, which is why he wasn't a part of the NBA show, but he's fucking, when it comes to baseball, like honestly, I put him right up there next to me, right? Like I can't give him that many props. I mean, I'm your favorite capper's favorite capper for a fucking reason, but but I actually defer a lot to Coach, and I run through a lot of what I'm doing in baseball with Coach, and I like to bounce shit off of Coach. So Coach definitely has his finger on the pulse of Major League Baseball. So he's definitely going to be a fixture. We'll see how the rotations work, but I want to get everybody involved, especially so they can come on here, promote their packages. And one thing, guys, if you haven't picked up a Coach Best Bet, you're fucking missing out. The dude's just on fucking fire. Just winning pretty much every day. And now I know he was in Poland for like 2 weeks. And I mean, who the fuck goes to Poland? But he was in Poland for a couple of weeks. But he's been in ATM. And I'm also going to say this, like, I suffered probably my worst week of the baseball season, in fucking years. I've never seen 3 max bets lose in a day in the 5 years of the system I use. It happened, on Sunday. These things just happen, but it's more of an outlier than anything else. And I will say this, though, but we haven't had a losing week this baseball season until last week. So if I can make that type of run into the season before losing a fucking week, and yeah, of course, it's always going to hurt when it's such a big loss. It is what it is. Why the guarantee go from month to week? Oh, you mean like this year? Just what's that? Well, coach with his max bet changes. Like, the hotter you are, the less you're going to give, right? Like, so if coaches, max bets are literally winning every fucking day, why is he going to give away a month when there's so much value in the week? And he's selling it for just such a cheap price point as is. It just makes sense. No 20 dime in NBA. You know what? Listen, playoffs, it's hard to get to the window with a big ticket. Now you're talking about the 4 best teams. I mean, arguably, but the 4 best teams in the NBA playing against each other. So it gets a little bit fucking it gets a little bit difficult to really start to put heavy money into games. Like tonight, I'll give you guys a little bonus one here. I actually have 2,500 on the Knicks tonight, and that you guys know, I mean, if you know me, that's not a huge play for me, especially when I have 20 dimes on a play in baseball tonight. So, it's just you're getting the best of the best. There's very little edge when it comes to playoffs. Channing, yeah, I don't know if it's impossible to bet. This season, it certainly seemed like it was impossible to bet. Listen, I've had my first losing NBA season in about 10 years, right? Like, legit. I usually dominate the NBA. Dominate. And for some reason, just, my spots weren't paying. The situations weren't paying. I wasn't seeing the board as clearly and seeing the court, I should say, as clearly as I typically do. So it is what it is. Anthony, this is my first time betting MLB ATM. I appreciate you and why lose, my brother. Oh, Guy, we appreciate you more or just as much, if not more. We always tell you guys that we love everything you get, you guys being a part of this, which is why I sit here spending on Q&A, just shooting the shit with you. And I'm going to be honest, doing this show, I forgot almost like how much it helps me in my process, right? Like just talking it out, really, even though I'm talking this shit to myself when I'm sitting here talking about the games and the free picks and just how I'm seeing the board. And, it's helping me like see the board clearer and see where I'm getting to. Like the more I'm looking into it, the more I'm thinking about it. Should I sprinkle a little bit on the Padres? But then the Padres are on a 5-game losing streak, so it's a spot I typically don't like. And just sitting here talking through the chats as you guys are asking questions and I'm answering your questions, it helps my process as well, which is why I started these shows in the first place, to just sit here, and go. And that's why we opened up the live chat, to show you that, listen, we recognize you guys, right? You guys are as much a part of this as we are, and we don't want you guys to think that anybody shortchanging you, the viewer, you the client, you the member, or you just the subscriber and the watchers, people who are intaking this stuff. We want you guys to know that you're appreciated as well, and your opinions do matter. And honestly, well, at least they matter to me. I can't say they matter to everybody, but I know for sure they matter to me. Oh, gee, we'll see what's going to go on with that. I'm always more concerned about tonight, right? Like I'm always more concerned about what I'm doing today, what the games are doing today, and that I'm seeing the board right, and that my handicap is spot on. That's the most important thing to me. When it comes to winning losing streaks, I always like to think the loss win has to come eventually, especially when the streak prolongs. Yeah, but the one good thing I will say about this, right? If you're talking about baseball teams with the win-loss streak, well, yeah, the win's going to come, especially for a team like the Padres, right? But there's no advantage to this whole thing, right? So if the Padres have now lost 7 games in a row, do you want to continue to bet the Padres until they win? Because that could go from 7 to 17 games, in a fucking blink of an eye. So now you just chase 10 games hoping to get it right. Typically, you want to play with it. You understand? Because even if you're wrong once. If that makes sense, like if you really think about it, it makes perfect sense. So if you're betting, on the Padres to win and then they lose another 5 games, well, you just dropped another 5 units, so to speak. But if you're betting against the Padres and then they lose that one game, you know what? You lost one game. And now you're off of the chase. So it's always it's always better to bet with the streak than against the streak. Wealth, always, no problem, man. That's what I'm here for. Chatting facts. Wealth, go for it. You know what? Your money, but you know what I'm gonna say, right? With your head, homie, with your head. Okay, so Edgar, I factor in weather, like wind reports, more than weather itself, right? Because the winds and where the winds are blowing in, blowing out, are going to affect more things. And it also depends on the team you're playing or playing against. Like if you're playing a team with like the New York Yankees and winds are blowing in, you probably want no part of the Yankee bats, right? Because Yankees don't play small ball. It's not something they do. They don't play small ball. It's go big or go home. They either hit it out of the fucking park or they don't score. And that's why you see droughts from the Yankees where they're putting up 2-3 runs and you're sitting here playing fucking team totals over 4.5, expecting them to do exactly what they've been doing, and they just go on droughts when the ball's not going out of the park. Adam, sometimes, I'll bet batter props based upon the situation. Like I have the Tatis home run prop tonight, but outside of that, bases over 1.5 or 2.5 bases, depending on the player and the situation. I have to really see something that I like, but that's what we have Luke for, right? That's pretty much the same answer I just gave. Yeah, I do bet player props in MLB, but only when applicable. And I actually like to target pitching props more so, like Jacob DeGrom to record. What is his? I would assume his numbers, and I don't speak for me, but it might be at like 17.5 tonight. I haven't even looked, but I would be looking more towards something like that, like a Jacob DeGrom over 17.5. Texas is in no hurry to get to their bullpen, so they're gonna, as long as he's pitching well enough early on, he's gonna obviously stay there. Aaron Judge covers 90. Well, yeah, but he doesn't, and he's been slumping more so often than not. See, again, Aaron Judge is another guy who hits home runs in bunches. Makes sense running with the win streak. Should have played out. Yeah, but the problem with the Minnesota is all the weather. That really affects everything, because we had a play to start the series in the suspended game with the Twins, and then I backed off of it and pulled off of the bet. I actually had to hit my host to cash it out, because the problem is when you go from one game and then all of a sudden the game is postponed or the game is suspended. A suspended game means that they're going to pick it back up. It's a completely different situation the next day. So it's not, you're not handicapping the exact same game. You're not handicapping the exact same spot. So, I typically don't like that, because at that point I'm just guessing, right? And the Twins had a 2-1 lead. If they were up fucking 4 runs, of course I leave the bet in action, but I don't want to sit here just betting. I want to be able to do the work prior and then jump on. I didn't have anybody in the Guardians Twins. I don't play double headers. I don't even look to double headers, or even if a game is suspended, it's still a double header. I don't look to double headers at all. What I will do is I'll look to the team that lost the first game in the second game if I feel there's a real edge. Parlay for tonight, I would say the Rangers first 5. No, I don't want to. You know what? Like, I wanted to get to the bets in that, so I can't. I mean, if you want a bigger money parlay, then I would definitely say, put the Tatis homer in there. But listen, that's more of a lottery ticket. Somebody get me the number on that and find out what the Tatis home run is plus. Keep going. Other way. Rockies Phillies over the 11.5. I could definitely that would definitely be a best bet. Keep going, and yeah, the Rangers first 5, not the Sox first 5. The over 11.5. I wouldn't mind throwing the A's in there because I do have a lean on them posted for members. Diamondbacks first 5 plus the half a run. But the problem is fucking Corbin Burns is so streaky. He comes out and he pitches like a fucking beast. Okay, so the Tatis home run is 250, 260 right now. You throw that for a longer parlay, but yeah, I would say if you guys wanted to put together a 3-team parlay, it'd probably be the Phillies Rockies over the Rangers first 5, and then the Athletics money line. I would say throw the Athletics money line in there, but if you wanted something a little bit longer than the Tatis home run. My book's offering -130 odds on Manny Machado over. The problem with Machado is he was so hot for so long. I think he's cooling off. Actually, he is cooling off. So I would typically start to back off of Machado props and then lean more towards Tatis props. That's just my opinion on that. Fernando Tatis is starting to heat up. Yeah, he's been a fucking beast. That's not like, I'm not arguing with the fact of what he's done, but he's starting to cool off. It's impossible for a hitter to stay as hot as he was for as long as he was. Dustin May over 5 strikeouts. Dustin may not make it out of the fucking second inning. So I mean, typically, I guess technically he could strike out 5 in the first 2. Listen, I was one of the biggest Dustin May backers during his rookie season. I thought the kid was the next coming, but he got hurt last year, I believe, and then he just hasn't returned to form yet. And it may just take a little bit more for him to get it back onto him. All right, guys, but that's it, man. Listen, I'll give more notice and we'll have a steady start time on this show. There'll be multiple, and you guys can talk all of your hit props and with Luke when he's on. I know Shark dives a little bit into that market, so does Coach. And I do as well when it comes to baseball. But I'll get you more guys. I just wanted to get this up and out there, give you guys a little taste of the MLB player performance. And I just wanted to come on here and talk some fucking baseball with you guys. But that's it for me today. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Until then, remember, bet with your heads, not above them. You're going to play, please do so responsibly. We'll be back here tomorrow. We'll break down the entire MLB card. Tomorrow's Thursday, so it should be a short card. Travel day for a lot of teams. Friday's card is going to be huge full. And it's going to be the same as NBA player performance, where we're going to do it Monday through Friday. You guys have any questions, you can sit there and think about it, write them down, jot them on the back of your hand, think about them overnight. We'll be more than happy to answer them tomorrow. Any questions you have, I don't give a shit. I'll answer anything. You guys know I'm an open book. But until then, remember, yesterday's a memory. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. And as the late, great Frank Sinatra once said, live every day like it's your last, because one day it will be.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort.